want to be so clear here. If there is a place to complain about shit or to be a whiner or to cry or to have a breakdown about something that's like seemingly small, it's therapy. Okay, hi everybody. Thanks for coming back if you've been here before, or hi, welcome if you're new. My name is Mickey, I'm a therapist, and we talk about therapist-y things on this channel. Today, we're talking about a question that I get a lot, which is, should you be in therapy, or who should be in therapy? This was a question that I got really commonly when I was a new therapist, and I think we made a video about it a very long time ago that is now private, probably because it was poorly made. So I thought we would revisit the topic as part of our little like back to basics series. For those of you who have not been on this playlist or this series before, I feel very strongly as a therapist and a clinician and an educator that therapy resources and educational content like this should exist somewhere on the internet, because it's important for us to have options to educate ourselves about therapy and mental health and mental illness. And the therapy community and therapists generally have not really done a great job of being super accessible. So I'm trying to do what I can to like spread the gospel of mental health. You know what I mean? I want to be super clear before we jump into things. This video specifically, but all of the content on the channel generally, is meant to be educational and entertainment content only. This is not a replacement for clinical psychotherapy, for therapy services. It's also not meant to be a diagnostic tool. And so I want to very much discourage anyone from trying to use this content for those purposes, because that's not what this is. We're doing broad strokes learning here. And again, this is meant to be educational and entertainment purposes only. If you are a person who feels like you might benefit from professional help, I always have links in the description to go find wonderful and fabulous therapists all over the country and like maybe the world, I think. And so I want to encourage you to utilize those links if you are feeling like you might need them. You're a wonderful and fabulous human being who's worthy of love and belonging, and you are always deserving of help if you want or need it. But again, this is not that. I wanted first and foremost to address a question that I got. If you are new here, you probably don't know, but I posted on my community tab a little while ago asking for some input and some questions that y'all had, some videos that you guys wanted to see me make. And one of the questions that I got was about a thing that I say all of the time. I say a lot that I think everyone should be in therapy, and this person requested some further elaboration on that comment. And I had never really thought about that before, but I think it's a very wise question because I am sure a lot of people might be confused by this. So I want to answer this question, like what does that mean when I say everyone should be in therapy, and kind of explore that topic a little bit, and then talk a little bit more about who should be in therapy, what kind of things you can go to therapy for, etc., etc. So when I say that everyone should go to therapy, what I mean is that everyone can benefit from therapy services at some point in your life. I want to be clear, I don't think that everyone should be chronically in therapy for the rest of their fucking lives, because A, that's probably an unrealistic expectation, and B, I don't know that everyone has like enough stuff to work on to be in therapy for that length of time anyways. I think it's very important that we as a profession normalize the process of going to therapy for a relatively short amount of time if that's what's required or necessary for you, and that being the extent of your involvement in services. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that life is like kind of a shit show sometimes, especially in the last couple of years. People have experienced some real fuckery, you know, and so I do think it's valid and fair to say that people stand to gain something from going to therapy and having this objective listener hold space for you to process the emotions. In this realm, it's also important to talk about what therapy actually is. A lot of people, especially people who don't have any experience with therapy, have this perception that therapy and mental health services is this like very antiquated, like, well, tell me how you feel about that thing. And don't get me wrong, some therapists are like that, and like, boo, not a fan of that. So like if that doesn't work for you and that's how your therapist is, like get the fuck out of there if you want to. But I do really want to be clear that there are a lot of therapists who are just like wonderful, like kind of cool people who are willing to hold space for you to unpack your emotions and talk about how you feel, make space for you to process the things that are going on in your life, and to talk about goals and objectives and long-term plans for how you want to proceed with that information, and primarily to help disperse tools and techniques that will help you to deal with the things that are going on in your life. Again, I think it's very important to honor and to talk about how common and like normal and real it is that all people throughout their lifespan will go through something. Everybody's got something, you know? We all experience grief and loss at some point. We all experience change at some point. We all go through stuff. And so having a person whose job it is to be fully objective, to hold space for you, and to help you work through that and to give you tools and techniques to work through that is objectively a very valuable skill. And again, it's not to say that all people need to go to therapy for the same length of time or will experience the same intensity of issues in life. But I think it's fair to say that therapy can be useful to most, or if not all people at some point in their lives. The other part of this question that I got from this person who made this suggestion was about how exactly to go about asking your therapist to help you set goals and objectives and like, you know, do the therapy thing if you're not a person who has this like big pronounced trauma in your life or like a clear, like obvious issue. How do you go to therapy and explain what it is that you're wanting to work on if you don't have the like blinking red light? I think this is actually a super useful question because again, I want to normalize people going to therapy and utilizing mental health services without having the blinking red light issue. I think there's a lot of wisdom in utilizing services before we get to the place that the train is like off the rails, you know? And so having a conversation about how to enunciate that is super useful in my opinion. For most people, this will look like setting individual goals, but I do want to be clear, this conversation will look different if you're an individual person or if you're a couple or you're going to family therapy or things like that. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit. I think for most people, we're probably going to individual therapy. Couples therapy and family therapy tend to be less common, so we're going to talk about that a little bit less. For an individual, I do want to encourage people to give yourself the space to just kind of voice the problems that you're noticing in your life. I know that this might seem a little bit uncomfy, and especially because of the world that we live in, people have a lot of fear about being a downer or like being a complainy person. I want to be so clear here. If there's a place to complain about shit or to be a whiner or to cry or to have a breakdown about something that's like seemingly small, it's therapy. Now is the time, because therapists have like seen some shit, you know? I've seen it all from like small to big to like proportional response to like not proportional response. Like we get it, you know? We've seen people who have been in similar situations, and therapists are also really skilled at hearing the problems that are going on in your life and helping you to identify like, okay, great, this is where you're at. Where do you want to go? When we talk about going to therapy and like setting goals, it's not really the client's job to come to therapy and be like, yes, hello, hi, here's the PowerPoint presentation of all of my issues, and these are the things that I want to fix, and here's how I want to fix it. No, because if you could do that, then you wouldn't really need to go to therapy, you know? Therapists are like experts for a reason. And so we have a lot of tools and techniques and resources that we can help provide you with to set the goals, to accomplish the goals, to create a sense of accountability and empowerment and like all the things, you know? So if you're noticing that there's a change in your life, or you're just like feeling some type of way, even if it's not easily identifiable, I do want to encourage you to give yourself time and space to talk to a professional about it, because sometimes we uncover more stuff than we thought was going on when we talk about it out loud with a safe person. But B, it's not your job to come up with the goals and to like do the thing. Like that's our area. That's the thing that we're good at and we have education in. And so we will happily assist. It's enough to come to therapy and be like, hello, hi, things are weird. I don't know what's going on, but like, this is what I'm noticing, and like, I don't know what to do about it. For couples, just really briefly, if you are noticing that you have a problem, just say that, just talk about that. But if you're wanting to go to couples therapy and just work on generally being better, you don't necessarily have like an identified issue, then you can also just say that. It's very much okay, and like probably more common than you'd think for couples, especially, to go to therapy with the goal of becoming a more harmonious unit, or working on communication skills, or having more tools to work through conflict, especially because the way that we deal with conflict tends to be informed by the way that our parents dealt with conflict and how we observed that happening as children. And so sometimes we're unconsciously mirroring conflict resolution patterns without recognizing that that's what we're doing. And so then we're bringing that into our partnership and then be like, why don't the pieces fit together? And so going to therapy can be a great way for us to unpack like what's going on and how is that affecting us and what is my partner here. Therapists are also great at doing the thing where they say, what I'm hearing your partner say is this, what did you hear, and being the mediator to help speak your language or speak your partner's language. So going to therapy generally just to improve communication and again, like create this more harmonious partnership is a very valid goal. So the third thing that I wanted to address here is like the big question of like, how do you know when it's time to go to therapy? This is a very common concern, and like, I think for a lot of people, the subject of a lot of late night concerned Googling, like, am I broken? Do I need to go to therapy? Do I need professional help? The short and like kind of annoying answer is the like, when you know kind of a thing. I know that's a very aggravating thing to say because sometimes it can feel very much like, but I don't know. But I mentioned this in the anxiety video and I want to mention it again here. Typically people who are vibing and feeling great and not in need of any type of intervention aren't doing the thing where they're Googling stuff late at night and obsessing about these questions of like, do I need to go to therapy? If you're finding yourself in this place, it can be very much worth making a phone call or sending an email to be like, hi, I don't know if my issues warrant me being in therapy or not. Here's what I'm noticing. Can we schedule a consultation? Most therapists will do a free 15-minute consultation, either over the phone or over video. And so having that 15-minute conversation is a great way to figure out, do I need to go or do I not? Because it's not going to cost you anything other than 15 minutes of your time. And therapists generally are pretty cool fucking people about it. We are not usually interested in taking on clients that either aren't a good fit for us or aren't in need of therapy. And so if that's the case, if we feel like the issues don't warrant clinical intervention, typically we'll tell you. I know it might not seem that way because a lot of the perception is like, well, therapists are money hungry bastards. And like, no, I'm telling you right now, we're not going to work our ass off for a client who's not in a place where they need to be doing the work. It's not worth the money. I'm telling you right now, it's not worth it. Therapists don't really like doing that, especially if they work in private practice. So more often than not, they have a vested interest in like shooting you straight, But again, I want to encourage anyone who's in this place of feeling like, I don't know, have the conversation. It can also be a great resource to voice this to your safe people in your life and just have a conversation about like, I don't know, like this is what I'm noticing, like what do you think? Or like, what do you think I should do? Or, what are your thoughts about how I feel and blah, blah, blah. A, because it's great to get input from our loved and trusted people. But B, because again, sometimes we uncover more stuff once we start to voice it out loud, and you might notice, maybe the issue that comes to mind is like, I am really angry every time I get into a conflict. But the more that you talk about it out loud, you're realizing that anger is just like covering up a fear of being wrong, or you're just very uncomfortable with people perceiving you as an idiot. And so you get angry and you get defensive. That's very much an issue that you can work on in therapy. That's very much a thing that could warrant clinical intervention if you wanted to, It's kind of that thing where I want to encourage people to just utilize the resources and explore the options that are available to you if it feels important to you. The other thing that might be helpful here is to contextualize this conversation about mental illness in the realm of physical illness. When we talk about like a physical injury, for example, if you hurt your shoulder lifting something that's too heavy for you, typically the response is like, we rest it, we put some ice on it, maybe we like ask for a massage or whatever. And then if it gets better, then it gets better and we don't really think about it again and it's fine, right? But if you injure your shoulder and you do the thing where you rest and you put ice on it and you have somebody massage it for you and it doesn't get better and it keeps not getting better and it keeps not getting better and it's like affecting the way that you live your life, and now all of a sudden you like don't want to lift heavy things and you're like babying your arm and it's frustrating you and it's upsetting, then you do something about it, right? Like you go to the doctor, you go to PT, you like, I don't know, take medication for it or whatever. And there's lots of different interventions that can be used for this issue. It's the same thing. If you're noticing that there's a change in your mental health that's affecting the way that you live your day-to-day life, and your previous coping strategies didn't work for you, or they did work for you and they don't work for you anymore, I think for a lot of people that warrants the phone call. And we will all land in different places about where that feels necessary or how, like when we cross that threshold. So I want to encourage and empower people to trust themselves and trust your gut here. But again, I think when we contextualize it in that realm, it feels a lot easier for us to honor that, like, yeah, okay, maybe this is something that is bothersome enough that it's worth me making that phone call or sending that email. That's the last thing I have.
Excellent then.
Excellent then.
Okay.
Okay, I hope that this was helpful or interesting or useful to y'all. If you did find it useful or helpful, please click the like button, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. Also leave me your comments in the comment section, letting me know how you feel, what your thoughts and feels are. I would love to see you guys having kind and compassionate conversations with one another about this issue. So like the video, leave some comments, subscribe to the channel, and click the cute little notification bell to be notified when we upload videos every Saturday at 10 a.m. I almost forgot what time we upload videos. And then share the video to help the channel grow and to help each other grow. And I will see you guys next Saturday. Okay, bye.